All right, now to give us more perspective, we're being joined by Mr. Glenn Carle, who's a former national intelligence officer, is joining us live on this broadcast. Mr. Carle, this is something that must be pretty concerning for the United States. The fact that the Chinese have got the biggest navy at this point of time was evident, but also the fact that the Chinese have now got the capacity to build ships at a much faster rate than the United States is something that must concern the United States.
Oh, absolutely. The report is not bringing news, in a sense, that the policymakers, the naval authorities, and international relations specialists have not known. This has been a trend for, as you point out, from the U.S. side, decades, and certainly from the Chinese side, probably 20 years, coinciding with the beginning of the dramatic surge in naval construction about 20 years ago by the Chinese, military construction. The figure I heard, which is slightly different, but it makes the same point, is that China has, I think, 22 naval construction facilities, civilian and military, and the United States at this point has only 7. But whether that figure is correct or not, the point remains the same, which is that by combining civilian construction capabilities with military, with a rising budget and a focus on naval construction, the Chinese have dramatically increased their capacity, and the balance of power is shifting, no question, with regard to naval force.
Absolutely, indeed. Now, the United States has got a very specific Asia-Pacific policy. It talks often about, the seas being open, the international waters being open for all nations. But the question that I want to ask you is this: considering that the Chinese are in fact surging ahead in the number of ships that they are building, will the United States also wish to crank up the capacity to build more of these naval warships?
Well, the answer is certainly yes. There have been alarms sounded for years on this specific problem, but it always comes down to money. And to do that, the United States would need to make a number of fundamental changes. In one sense, the simplest, at least for us to understand, is simply increasing the military budget to pay for the construction of more ships. But more fundamentally, it's investing long-term in naval construction so that the private sector, which is the essential in the United States economic situation, can increase lastingly its productive limits or capabilities. And that requires some structural changes in how defense budgets are done, what they are, and our long-term planning. It's in the works. There is movement to increase the productive capability, but it could be insufficient at present.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Carle, for joining us and getting us all those insights there.
My pleasure.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.